Good evening, and welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Brockton City Council for December 11th, 2023. A quorum being present, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilors, this evening, Councilor Mendez is unable to be with us. She's at an event at the State House. It is also her birthday.
Oh, so sweet.
When you see her or call her, please wish her a happy birthday. Madam Clerk.
Item number 1, acceptance of the minutes of the November 27th, 2023 City Council meeting.
Accepted and placed on file.
Reports of the Real Estate Committee for its meeting of November 28th, 2023.
Accepted and placed on file.
Of the Finance Committee for its meeting of December 4th, 2023.
Accepted and placed on file.
For communications from Philip Griffin of 19 Emery Street, Brockton, Massachusetts, informing the City Council that he is resigning as a member of the Brockton Redevelopment Authority Board of Directors as of December 13th, 2023.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the Mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Item number 6, from the Fire Chief informing the City Council that Brockton Fire Department has been awarded an SFY 2024 Massachusetts Municipal Public Safety Staffing Grant in the amount of $267,600.00 from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security. This is a non-matching grant with no cost to the city. Brockton Fire Department is requesting to accept and expend the total grant. They intend to use these grant funds for overtime necessary to maintain staffing levels.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the Mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the Director of Veteran Services requesting the City Council accept and expend the donation of 25 winter care packages from the Coast for Vets program. They will be distributed to veterans who live in Brockton.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the Mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Item number 12, we have a communication from the Mayor in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council confirm the previously proposed FY23 appropriation of $62,271.26 for the purposes of funding the Brockton Association of Engineers, Technicians, and Inspectors contract. This provides funding for the fiscal year of a 3-year contract, July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2025, from Human Resources, Employee Benefits, Contractual Obligation Costs to boards and amounts as spelled out in an order to be read later in the agenda.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Item number 14, we have a communication from the Mayor in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council confirm the previously proposed FY23 appropriation of $363,581.23 for the purpose of funding the Brockton City Hall Administrative Services Association contract. This provides funding for the first year of a 3-year contract, July 1, 2022 to July 30th, 2025, from Human Resources, Employee Benefits, Contractual Union Costs to department and amounts as spelled out in an order to be read in full later in the agenda.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Unfinished business, we have an ordinance. Ordinance, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton to adopt a new section to Chapter 12, Section 6, pedestrians of the revised ordinances of the City of Brockton as follows. Purpose, every pedestrian shall have the right to use the public ways in the City of Brockton, except where pedestrian travel is expressly or specifically prohibited by law, regulation, signage, road closure, or other safety or emergency factors. Notwithstanding the right of pedestrians to use public ways within the City of Brockton, the City of Brockton has experienced an increase in public safety issues relating to pedestrian use of and entry into the public roadways identified herein, for which a significant public safety need has arisen, requiring implementation of this median safety and pedestrian regulation ordinance. Roads subject to the provisions of this ordinance. This ordinance shall apply to the following roadways within the City of Brockton: Main Street, North Main Street, Warren Ave, North Warren Ave, Montello Street, North Montello Street, Belmont Street, Pleasant Street, Center Street, Crescent Street, Oak Street, Pearl Street, North Pearl Street, Reynolds Memorial Highway, East Ashland Street, Spring Street, West Chestnut Street, School Street, Court Street, Forest Ave, Richmond Street, Battle Street, North Quincy Street. Exemptions. Nothing in this ordinance shall prohibit law enforcement officials, and public safety officials from enforcement of statutory, regulatory, and local regulations and requirements pertaining to use of public ways by pedestrians, travelers, and motor vehicle operators within the city of Brockton. These regulations shall not apply to municipal, state, federal, or other public service corporation individuals or their agents, service, and employees while in the performance of their public duties, including duties involving public safety, construction, maintenance, repair, or cleaning work. These regulations shall not apply to road closures for special events as deemed necessary by municipal, state, federal, or other public service corporation individuals or their agents, servants, and employees. These regulations do not apply to pedestrians entering into a roadway for purposes of acting in emergency circumstances. Definition: crosswalk, the specially paved and marked path for pedestrians crossing on a roadway. Median, a section of reserved area separating opposing lanes of traffic on a roadway, traffic between lanes on a roadway. Center traffic island, safety island, an area provided for safety of pedestrians from vehicular. Sidewalk, a paved walkway along the side of a roadway. Shoulder, the area of a strip of land immediately adjacent to a traffic lane of a roadway which does not contain a sidewalk. Roadway shall refer to the roadways identified in Section 12-154.2. Regulations. It shall be unlawful for any pedestrian to walk along or upon an adjacent roadway wherever a sidewalk, median, crosswalk, center traffic island, or safety island is available for pedestrian use. It shall be unlawful for any pedestrian to leave an available sidewalk, median, crosswalk, center traffic island, or safety island to enter the path of any motor vehicle on a roadway. Where sidewalk, medians, crosswalks, center traffic islands, or safety islands are unavailable, a pedestrian shall use an unfinished shoulder of a roadway and avoid traveling or entering into the roadway. A pedestrian shall not enter a public way into the pathway of motor vehicles traveling on and along the roadway or approach within 5 feet of a motor vehicle or vehicles using the roadway. Enforcement. These median safety and pedestrian regulations shall be enforced by the City of Brockton Police Department. Any individual who violates the provisions of this ordinance shall be cited and fined as follows: a fine not exceeding $50 for the first offense, $100 for a second offense, and $300 for a third, and each subsequent offense thereafter, with each separate instance considered a distinct violation, subjecting the violator to citations and fines. In City Council, September 25th, 2023, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Ordinance. That report was favorable as amended. In City Council, November 27th, 2023, passed to a third reading as amended.
Councilors, the question is on ordination as amended by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
DiAgostino.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is ordained as amended.
Item number 17, ordered that the City Council hereby declare as surplus a city-owned parcel of land located on Main Street, parcel ID 091-079, being the premises of land described as Parcel A by deed of the City of Brockton, recorded in the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds in Book 5313, page 467, for the purposes of granting a no-build easement to John Marion and Elsie R. Marion as trustees of the John and Elsie R. Marion Irrevocable Trust under Declaration of Trust dated January 5th, 1996, recorded with the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds at Book 14073, page 220, owner of adjacent property located at 137 Main Street, Brockton. This order further authorizes the mayor to execute all documents necessary to facilitate the grant of the no-build easement. In City Council, October 23rd, 2023, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Real Estate. That report was favorable.
Councilor Thompson.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, due to the fact that not all city councilors participate in the Real Estate Committee, I'd like to take a second to speak to them and also the public on what exactly is before the City Council this evening. The matter before us is an order authorizing the mayor to enter into a 20-foot no-build agreement with Dakota Partners, which will enable them to construct a residential development on the property owned by the Marion Brothers Tuxedo Company. Dakota Partners development requires them to build to their property line.
Councilor Thompson, excuse me.
Yes.
What's in front of us is what the clerk just read.
I will be making a motion to amend at the end of my explanation,
Second.
Madam President.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
let's get that motion in there.
Second.
So if you would like, I'd like to make if you want me to do it now, I can make a motion to amend the order before us as drafted in front of the clerk today, right now. If she'd like to read the amended order, we can vote on that.
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and properly seconded. We were going to hear it first before we vote on it.
Ordered. This would be a substitute order because there are some parts that change throughout. That the City Council hereby declare as surplus a 20-foot section of city-owned parcel of land located on Main Street, parcel ID 091-079, along the full length of the southern property line, being a portion of the premises of land described as Parcel A, by deed to the City of Brockton, recorded in the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds in Book 5313, page 467, for the purpose of granting a no-build easement to Dakota Partners, Inc., or its assign, upon acquisition of adjacent property located at 137 Main Street, Brockton, by Dakota Partners, Inc. The easement shall be limited to a 20-foot no-build easement. The easement shall contain a condition that Dakota Partners, Inc., as grantee, agrees to begin construction on the 137 Main Street premises within 3 years from the date of the grant of the easement. All construction on said premises must comply with federal, state, and City of Brockton statutes, regulations, bylaw, and ordinances. If Dakota Partner, Inc. fails to comply with the terms and conditions, the city as grantor shall have the right to reclaim the premises. Upon notice of the exercise of such right by the grantor, the grantee agrees to terminate the easement for nominal consideration. This order further authorizes the mayor to execute all documents necessary to facilitate the grant of the no-build easement. The city shall require payment of reasonable consideration for grant of the no-build easement to be paid at closing.
Councilors, I just want to throw in that I'd like to suggest that this substitute order, it's coming in as an amendment, but it's really a substitute order. It represents substantial change from the original order that was introduced a few weeks ago. And also, there's been no public discussion on this with the mayor, with the city solicitor, with legislative council. All we've had is a real estate subcommittee that has weighed in on this and heard this. So I would like to, Councilor Thompson will have the floor next, but I would like to suggest that we entertain a motion to send this to the Finance Committee so that all of the parties involved and all of these additional people that I've mentioned have the opportunity to speak about it, and we have the opportunity to ask questions. Because this is a city asset, I take this very seriously. Okay, so I would entertain a motion.
Point of information, Madam President.
Councilor.
There's, I believe, a motion on the floor.
There's a motion on the floor.
Okay.
Correct.
So,
There's the amended motion on the floor
we will go back
and
to
properly
that.
seconded. If we could vote on the amended motion.
good idea. Councilor Farwell?
Yeah, on the motion then, which is the amendment. We've had 2 real estate committee meetings on this issue. As you just pointed out, we have had absolutely no public discussion with the city solicitor about this issue. We've had no public discussion. We've had anecdotal exchanges with legislative counsel about it. We don't know the mayor's position on this. I suggested that we include something in the order about remuneration to the city, and I was told we can't do that, but we can certainly have the mayor appear and talk to us about that. If you look at the minutes of the real estate committee meetings that we've held, they are deplorable. They don't mention the size of the project. They don't mention the number of units. All they refer to is Councilor Farwell commented. Councilor D'Agostino had concerns. Councilor Minicello made comments. The average citizen reading about this would have absolutely no idea what went on in those meetings. And for all of those reasons, I hope that the amendment is not adopted, and I hope that this matter goes back to finance so that the appropriate people can appear. And as you mentioned, and I agree, let's have a full-throated public discussion about a city asset, because that's why we're here, is to protect the interests of the city. Thank you.
So there's a motion on the floor to amend with the substitute order, and it has been properly seconded.
Roll
Councilors?
call vote, please.
Roll call vote.
Okay.
Kayla?
Yep.
Okay.
Azak?
Madam Chair, through
Yes.
you, so what are we voting on the amendment?
We're voting on adopting the substitute order.
On the amendment.
On the amendment.
This would normally be a hand vote, but they've asked for a roll call vote.
I understand that, but I do have a question because, as you said, this substantially changes the original order. So I'm having a problem comprehending how we're basically inserting this new amendment into this order, if not because if you look at the original order and the amendment that's being proposed, those two do not jive.
At all.
So how can we're here on a council voting on an order that has been severely amended, and now we're being asked to vote on the amendment that I'm not necessarily against, but the order I was, because the order was not as clear as it needed to be for what we were. But how do I mean, through you and through our legislative council there, in terms of basically we are wiping out this order and introducing a new order to it. Because the order that's on the agenda and the order that's being amended, those two do not look alike or sound alike.
Madam Clerk?
I can read the language. I prepared a track change document for this. What is in front of you is a clean version, but I can read for you the changes if you'd like.
And if I could just add in that, so this matter was brought before the Real Estate Committee. During those discussions, some of the amendments before you were requested to be added to this order. So the original order that came before us is obviously the one that was originally read into the record. During discussion of the Real Estate Committee, it was suggested that we add additional protections for the order. So the language before you are those discussed additions. Additionally,
Councilor, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that years from now, when somebody grabs the original order that was submitted to this body and looks at what had the proposed amendment, those two do not look like they even belong in the same planet. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So what happens to this order in the book? Do we basically X it out and introduce the new order?
this new order essentially changes just a few things. Number one is
The name of the ownership that on the original order was one group, and now this is a different group.
correct, and that was a suggested change by the Real Estate Committee during deliberations. So the new order reflects that specific change. The new order also reflects the need for now where instead of just saying the full parcel, as discussed in the Real Estate Committee, we're limiting the no build on the full parcel just down to the required 20-foot. That was another suggested change at Real Estate. Additionally, there was a suggested change that we put a time limit on this. So that's where the 3 years from approval of the easement comes in, that we want to make sure that the project that we're looking to have built is built within a reasonable time. And if it's not built within that reasonable time, then we'd be seeking this no build be reverted back to the city. So we are seeking some type of reversion clause. That's where the 3-year build comes in. And then lastly, there was discussion regarding consideration. What is the city going to get in return for this no build? Now, that's an issue for the mayor. We authorized the mayor to enter into a negotiated agreement agreement for the no build. So consideration will be determined after a survey and appraisal of the 20-foot no build. But we, as a council, wanted to ensure that there would be consideration. So that's where the language of the reasonable consideration will be requested. Those are the 4 essential changes that are in this order. This is not a new order. It's still an existing surplus order granting a no-build easement to the developer, well, to the owner, and that's upon acquisition, to the owner of the Marion Brothers property. So there are changes, but there are only 4. Going to Dakota, 20-foot, and not the full parcel, reasonable consideration, and a reversion clause of getting this done within 3 years. That's exactly what the amendment reflects.
Go ahead.
Can I?
Yes?
Well, Madam Chair or President, sometimes you kind of get mixed up. Madam Queen. Again, the issue that I'm having is I am not per se against this project. I just want to make sure that that everybody understands that. But I do have some questions. We do have some questions, and that's what the issue is. The questions that we have that we need to ask the developer some of these questions. Because I look at this, the parking authority owned the parking area in between those 2 buildings. So I see cars being parked in those spots, and who are those parking spots for? Is it, again, city-owned parking, or by giving that away? But that's the question that I have for the developer, not for you, Councilor.
Well, that's fine, but I can answer that because this matter did go before the parking authority, and they approved it unanimously.
Councilor, with all due respect, all those authorities have no authority in here. The final authority rests with this body to decide what we're going to do with the taxpayer's piece of property.
And with all due respect,
Decide whatever they want to decide. You are asking me to give, the final vote comes from us to decide what we're going to give away. So we need to feel comfortable enough to understand what we are giving from the taxpayer. I can't go back to my community and say, oh, by one community saying, oh, by the way, the parking authority decided on this and this authority decided on that. What's going to count is what I decided on as a city councilor, as a representative of the people in this community. That's why we need to be perfectly clear that we understand what's taking place so that we can do and provide an educated response to the folks that actually voted us into this particular position.
well, we did hold 2 with all due respect, Councilor, we held 2 real estate committee meetings that were open to the public, that were attended by multiple city councilors. That's where we hold these discussions. During that conversation, we brought in the parking authority so they could bring and address their concerns to the city, to the real estate committee, and we addressed those concerns. Secondly, this matter has also gone through the planning board. So this has been reviewed by multiple boards in our city.
Councilor, point of information, this easement, I understand from a planning board member, did not come up during the planning board meeting. Okay, so this issue before us now was not part of the planning board meeting, so that's not quite.
But the project was approved. That's what I'm saying. The project was approved.
A prior version of it was approved.
No, it came before the planning board earlier this month.
I understand.
And this exact project, as it's to be built, was approved by the planning board.
But without this, so.
Point of information, Madam President.
Go ahead.
If I may be so bold, Madam Queen, we have the developer and the property owner present in the audience. If the council would not have any objection to getting these questions answered directly.
Thank you. Not at this time. What I'd like to do, I've got everybody lined up here, is I'd like to have a vote. I've got 2 things. You vote on whether you want to amend this order tonight, okay, at council. And then I ask for someone to make a motion to refer it to Finance Committee so that all of these interests and concerns, we only want to do the right thing. so that all of these issues can come out and be discussed properly. And there are people here that not here, that I would like to have as part of that meeting: the city solicitor, the mayor, the legislative council. She's wearing a lot of hats tonight. And so for that reason, I would like to go forward with a motion on this, whether it carries or whether it doesn't. I'd still like to see us, if someone will entertain that motion, perhaps go to Finance Committee meeting.
What I don't understand is, why do we refer these out to committee if we're not going to fully discuss them within committee? We have a committee to have a full discussion on these issues. The city solicitor was an invited guest. She chose not to appear. I believe the mayor was an invited. I don't know if the mayor was an invited guest, but he's had a month now, month and a half, to weigh in on this matter. Don't know who called him, but the fact is that this matter has been discussed. The issue before us is clear: 20-foot no build. These are air rights.
Well,
and so,
we haven't adopted it yet, so that's...
well, I'm just saying that the issue is clear. And for any delay or obfuscation of this issue, it only goes to potentially deny this project from moving forward. Me particularly, I'm not going to be at City Council on the 26th. So the sponsor of this order is just not going to be able to be there to have a final vote on this matter. I think we should move forward as amended this evening. Let's get this project moving.
Yep,
Thank you.
second.
On the motion, Councilor Farwell?
Yeah, there are still a lot of questions. For example, if this were to pass, it indicates that construction would begin within 3 years. You could start construction and stop. You could have financing fall through. You could end up with a situation like Councilor O'Reilly has up in his ward, where he was promised something that was going to be constructed, and it's yet to be constructed. You know, we're talking about a piece of property in the center of the city, a quarter of an acre of land. I think we need to get this right. I'm in favor of some of the amendments, perhaps, but you have to have the right people present. How many times have councilors spoken and said, well, we should have the solicitor here? Well, we should have the mayor here. Now, I don't know what their scheduling conflicts were with the real estate committee. Well, let's talk about the real estate committee, and this is not a knock against the chair. We never televised those meetings. No one at home could watch what was going on. No one could hear the dialogue. No one could see the pictures that were presented by the developer. No one could hear the comments and the discussion by councilors. I mean, that's just inexcusable. And then if you look at the minutes, ordinarily I'd go to the minutes of the meeting. Take a look at them when you go to the city's website and see how pitiful they are. We're supposed to conduct meaningful business in the public domain so that people know what's going on in this city. This issue has not been conducted in that manner, and for that reason, I think it should go back to FinCom.
All right, right now we have a motion on the floor. Councilor Lally.
On the motion, Madam President,
Yes.
I just want to reiterate and remind my colleagues that this is not a motion to send this item to finance. We've yet to actually vote on the proposed amendment to this order. I would further push that the Real Estate Committee is exactly the appropriate place for this to have gone. It is a matter dealing with real estate either belonging to or potentially belonging to the City of Brockton. The Real Estate Committee has met in the way it has met, in a way that's perfectly, greenlit and supported by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and Mass General Law. The meetings are public and accessible. That is the key priority. And I would further argue that if we wanted this to go to finance, then it should have gone to finance. It didn't go to finance because this is a real estate matter. The council directs items to the appropriate committee within the council for deliberation and then a recommendation from that committee. If people not on the committee have questions or concerns, those people who are not on the committee have the time to get the information themselves, either from a member of the committee or from one of the parties, seeking the positive or negative result of the committee. We've had 2 meetings on this item. It has been discussed extensively. The order presented, the amended order presented, represents several different amendments that were just put together into a new order instead of making the council go through several amendments in one. The orders are substantially, I would argue, the same, with changes that you can spot easily. If you gave me 5 minutes and a highlighter, we could work this thing out. I've got nothing more, productive to say on it other than that this issue has been vetted by the committee, recommended favorably by the committee. The committee met and acted appropriately, and I would ask that we vote.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam President.
Respectfully, Councillor Farwell.
Just a point of order.
Okay.
The matter was not referred to the right committee. Under our city ordinances, Section 2-91, subsection D, the Real Estate Committee only deals with sale of city property. Only with sale of city property. Now, I don't care what we've done in the past. That doesn't mean we have to repeat the mistake in the future. And I would defer to Legislative Counsel if you want to take a minute and have her look up Section 2-91, subsection D, and that is precisely what it says. This should have originally gone to FinCom. It should not have gone to Real Estate.
Point of information, we have precedent on this item. Madam President, I call the vote.
Well, there's currently a vote before us.
Thank you, I'm the president.
Yeah, I mean,
He's calling the vote on the motion to amend the order on our agenda this evening. You all have a copy of it. The motion's been properly seconded. All in favor?
We're going to have a roll call vote.
A roll call vote. Taylor?
Azak.
Yes.
DiAgostino.
Yes.
Farwell.
No.
Lally.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
yes.
9 in the affirmative, 1 in opposition.
No.
Madam President,
Pre-
I move to refer this to FinCom.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded to refer this matter to the Finance Committee. All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. It's not referred. Okay.
Madam President,
Yeah.
I seek a motion to approve, or I ask that we call the vote to approve this matter.
Second.
On the
Okay.
motion.
There's no motion. It's
There's
a
no
call of the
motion.
vote.
Yeah.
No. First of all, we're going all about this the wrong way. When somebody makes a motion to call the vote, you're supposed to put that call to vote to the body for acceptance, because otherwise, guess what? I can show up here anytime I feel like it. As soon as somebody announces a vote, I'm call a vote, and there's no discussion in the body. That's not how it's supposed to be. We've done this in the past, but that's not the way it's supposed to work. When somebody calls a vote, there's a motion to call the vote. All those in favor, go for the call of the vote, and all discussion cease.
Do I have a second for the motion to call the vote?
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and
On the
seconded.
motion.
On the motion, Councilor Rodriguez.
Now, see, Madam President, this is the thing that bothers me about this body in the sense. It seems that we are put in a position where we are either in favor of something or against something. There's no in between. There's a lot of us that are in between, in favor of the project, but with questions of the project. And I think it's totally unfair to the body and to the folks that are watching us at home that we don't have an opportunity to discuss the issues that we need to discuss. Committees are committees. The city council is the city council. The decisions are not made in the committee. Those are recommendations made by committees that need to come to the full city council for approval. So what gets approved here is not necessarily the wishes of the committees. What gets approved here is the wishes of the people whom we represent. So now when it comes to this, if we want to sit here and, again, because we have some questions and disagree on some things, the way these things are being conducted, and yet in favor of the project, we have a choice. Either vote for it or vote against it. And then it'll come down that, oh, you were against the project because it's not against the process of the project. And this is what the problem that some of us have, is the fact that we do not, we ship some things to a committee does whatever the committee needs to do. I don't have to go to a committee meeting. My job as a city council is to be president of the city council to decide how to vote one way or the other. That's how it is. And I have to be satisfied with what's done in order for me to cast my vote. And that's what we're here, to decide whether or not this is a good project for the community, this is a good thing for the citizens and the taxpayers of this community, which leads us to the spot that we're in right now, which I am going to have to vote against this because I was not given an opportunity to clarify some of the questions that I had. Not against the project, but I'm going to vote against it.
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm just going to say something. I have not received so much information that I should have on this. I have not received a purchase and sales agreement or an appraisal. I have not received the packet of information that normally would come from someone. I got a piece of paper and that was it. And that was my goal in trying to get this back to finance so that we would have additional people there to ask questions of. You know, unfortunately, I agree with you. I agree with you, Councilor Rodriguez. Councilor Thompson.
This matter was read into the record for the first time about a month and a half ago. We've had 2 real estate committee meetings. Everybody knows who is involved in trying to work this matter. There were phone calls made to everybody, whether people return calls, whether people sought to learn about or educate themselves on what was before us. That is our job. Our job is not just to show up on city council and then start saying, what's going on. Our job is to do preparatory work. And so if that wasn't done, then don't say you didn't have the opportunity to learn. This matter has been before us for about a month and a half. Everybody had the opportunity. They could have just asked the questions. I just want to put that out there and make a motion to approve. It was on the call of the vote. Sorry, that was the motion before us.
There's a motion to call the vote, which is not debatable. It's been seconded. So you should be voting at least by a hand vote on whether to vote. It's been called.
All right, motion to call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, so that carries. And so now we're going to vote on whether to approve this amended order. Okay? Councilor Farwell.
Point of the vote's been
There's a
called.
vote.
Yeah.
We're having a
Now
vote.
all debate has ended?
All debate
Yes,
is
all
ended.
debate is
All right.
ended, yes. Okay, we're having a roll call vote?
Yes.
Okay. Taylor?
Azak.
Yes.
D'Agostino.
Yes.
Farwell.
No.
Lally.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
No.
Rodriguez.
I'm going to vote present.
Is that yes? Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, the order is adopted as amended.
Madam President, I make a motion for reconsideration in the hope that this does not prevail.
Second.
A motion for reconsideration has been made and properly seconded in hopes it does not prevail. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, it carries. Thank you.
Item number 18, reappointment of Mr. Robert Graham of Brockton, Massachusetts, to the Board of Directors of the Brockton Council on Aging pursuant to the City of Brockton Ordinances, Section 2-414, for a term of 3 years. In City Council, November 27, 2023. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on confirmation by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
D'Agostino.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The appointment is confirmed.
19, reappointment of Stephen Hook of Brockton, Massachusetts, to the Traffic Commission pursuant to City of Brockton Ordinances, Section 466, for a term of 3 years. In City Council, November 27, 2023. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
The question is on confirmation by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
D'Agostino.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The appointment is confirmed.
20, ordered in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council approve the expenditure of $935,657.31 from DPW Sewer Division, other contracted services FY24 to Veolia, $213,560.97, $238,820.35, $483,275.99, in order to cover unanticipated expenses for the remainder of the fiscal year. In City Council, November 27, 2023, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
The question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
DeAgostino.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Ordered, in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council approve the expenditure of $530,872.99 from DPW Water Division Purchases of Services FY24, $530,152.78, DPW Water Division Goods and Supplies FY24, $720.21, to Brockton Police Department, $5,713.38, Abington Police Department, $825, Plymouth County Sheriff, $440, East Bridgewater Police Department, $440, Town of Holbrook Police Department, $1,276, Plimpton Police Department, $2,186.60, Advantage Truck Rainham LLC, $1,540.15, Burke Dennis K. Inc., $667.86, United Construction and Forestry LLC, $920.74, Woodward's Auto Spring Shop, $22.39, Zeb, $720.21, Constellation, $248,817.85, Bertarelli Brothers, $2,520, Veolia, $251,153.54, Modern Auto Body, $7,142.88, TL Edwards, Inc., $6,486.39. In City Council, November 27, 2023, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
The question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
DeAgostino.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Item number 22, ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of the total grant funds in the amount of $60,000 from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, $60,000, to the Police Department FY24 Municipal Road Safety Program, $60,000. In City Council, November 27, 2023, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
The question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
DeAgostino.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Item number 23, ordered that the City Council hereby rescinds the tax increment financing agreement, TIF, between the City and Air Energy Group LLC, approved October 24, 2023. In City Council, November 27, 2023, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
The question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
DeAgostino.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Item number 24, ordered that the City Council authorizes and approves the tax increment financing agreement between the City, Brockton Industrial Property Owners LLC, and Air Energy Group LLC regarding 105 Industrial Boulevard, Brockton, Massachusetts. This agreement will contribute to the ongoing economic vitality of the city and will commit to job creation and increased revenue. In City Council, November 27, 2023, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable as amended.
The question is on adoption as amended by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
DeAgostino.
Yes.
Barwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Minicello,
Yes.
Nacastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Tavares,
Yes.
Texera,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted as
Madam
amended.
President?
Counselor Lally.
Madam President, I'd like to motion for reconsideration in the hope that it does not prevail.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded for reconsideration in the hopes it does not prevail. All in favor? All opposed? Fails. Thank you.
Orders. Number 25, order that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of the total grant funds in the amount of $267,600 from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety to the Brockton Fire Department. This grant will be used to fund necessary overtime to maintain staffing levels.
Referred to Finance.
Ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of the donation in the amount of 25 winter care packages from Coast for Vets program to the Veteran Services Department. The donation will be used for helping veterans who live in Brockton.
Counselor Thompson.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, in order to expedite the delivery of these winter care packages to our veterans prior to the holiday season, I'm going to make a motion that we suspend the rules and act on this matter tonight.
Motion's been made, properly seconded to suspend the rules and act on this evening. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. It carries.
And just for the information of the council, we do have the Veteran Services Officer before us if there's no objection, if you'd want to say something tonight.
Does anyone object to Ms. Young speaking? Come forward, please, Ms. Young. Good evening.
Good evening, Council Queen, formerly known as Council President Nicastro, and City Councilors. I want to thank you for giving me the time to speak. Just so you know what this program is, so I sent a letter that you accepted on file, and I don't know if you get to see the enclosures or if the letter just goes into the file, but I sent pictures. Just in case you didn't get them, I brought everything. So the Mass Military Support Foundation has a program called Coats for Vets, and they do it with the New England Patriots Foundation. And they partner with law enforcement agencies. So Officer Cesarini and Officer Rodriguez from the Brockton Police Department drove to Gillette Stadium and picked up 25 buckets. I believe Home Depot and Ocean State Job Lot are partners with these nonprofits. And there's coats and then some other like hygiene and care package items. They're really nice. I'd wear these coats.
Nice,
Oh, how
yeah.
nice.
They're really heavy. There are like cough drops and hand sanitizer, deodorant, some feminine hygiene products, Tylenol, ibuprofen, just items you'd kind of have in your cabinet in your bathroom. Handy to have, really helpful to our folks in Brockton. It's very expensive out there. I don't know if you've been in like CVS or a drugstore lately, but these items are very expensive. And just so you know, this is in good faith. If I had to ballpark numbers, I'd say on the low end, these buckets are $100 a piece. On the high end, $200. So we're looking at $2,500 to $5,000 of a donation. And I talked to the city law department. They said that retroactive acceptance is a legal thing we can do. So I accepted them. This event happened on November 16th, but the opportunity came up too quick to have it beforehand. So here we are now, and we're going to be giving these away. If we run out of our 25, our neighboring veteran service officers have said that they probably have more than they can give away in their communities. So the folks in Brockton should call the office, 508-580-7850, if they need a winter coat. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
We're in vote.
Oh, goodness, sorry. Roll call vote.
Azak,
Yes.
D'Agostino,
Yes.
Barwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Minicello,
Yes.
Nacastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Tavares,
Yes.
Texera,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted. Thank you, Ms. Young.
Item number 27, Order that the City Council confirm the previously approved FY23 appropriation of $62,271.26 for purposes of funding the Brockton Association of Engineers, Technicians, and Inspectors contract. This provides funding for the first year of a 3-year contract, July 1, 2022 through July 30th, 2025, from Human Resources, Employee Benefits, Contractual Union Costs. 2, Board of Health, Personal Services other than overtime, $23,270.91. Board of Health, overtime, $384.61. Department of Public Works, Engineering Division, Personal Services other than overtime, $4,728.40. Department of Public Works, Engineering Division, overtime, $193.62. Department of Public Works, Water Enterprise, Personal Services other than overtime, $8,163.45. Department of Planning and Economic Development, Personal Services other than overtime, $5,560.97. Department of Planning and Economic Development, overtime, $126.06. Public Property Personal Services other than overtime, $19,258.20. Public Property overtime, $585.04.
Referred to Finance.
Item number 28, order that the City Council confirm the previously approved FY23 appropriation of $363,581.23 for purposes of funding the Brockton City Hall Administrative Services Association contract. This provides funding for the first year of a 3-year contract, July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2025. From Human Resources, Employee Benefits, Contractual Union Costs. 2, Animal Control, Personal Services other than overtime, $3,845.50.
Madam President, this item takes up like 3 or 4 pages. For the sake of the clerk, would you be amenable to a motion to waive the reading of the complete item?
Counselor, I think we have to read it. It has to come in.
You can waive the right to read.
We
I can also read it.
Your will, Madam President.
Well, let's put it to a vote.
I'd need a second.
Second. What was the vote?
A motion's been made to waive the reading of these several pages of where the funding is going to. It's order.
How long
Okay, and
will
it's
it
coming
take
in
you to read
tonight.
it?
Pardon?
How long will it take her to read it?
Well, we already read
It will
this
take-
also.
It will take a few minutes, but
We
it's
read
the
this in
first.
communications 20 minutes ago.
No, she didn't read it.
We did not.
She said she would read it for the order. Okay? So I've got a motion to waive this reading, and it's properly been seconded. It's the first time it's coming in. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. It fails.
Read it.
Okay. 2, Animal Control, Personal Services other than overtime, $3,845.50. Animal Control overtime, $3.38. Assessors, Personal Services other than overtime, $14,615.57. Assessors overtime, $27.34. Auditing, Personal Services other than overtime, $18,168.55. Auditing overtime, $496.18. Board of Health, Personal Services other than overtime, $4,353.84. Board of Health, overtime, $15.90. Cemetery, Personal Services other than overtime, $4,925.46. Cemetery, overtime, $86.63. City Clerk's Personal Services other than overtime, $14,249.38. City Clerk, overtime, $130.94. City Council, Personal Services other than overtime, $25,069.81. City Council, overtime, $727.19. Council on Aging, Personal Services other than overtime, $4,564.56. Council on Aging, $13.88. Department of Planning and Economic Development, Personal Services other than overtime, $9,713.88. Department of Planning and Economic Development, overtime, $119.84. DPW Admin, Personal Services other than overtime, $2,034.97. DPW Admin, overtime, $39.09. DPW Engineering, Personal Services other than overtime, $4,915.90. DPW Highway, Personal Services other than overtime, $24,190.57. DPW Highway, overtime, $7,356.49. DPW refuse, personal services other than overtime, $5,675.74. DPW refuse, overtime, $329.29. DPW personal services other than overtime, $27,911.49. DPW water, overtime, $315.47. Elections, personal services other than overtime, $12,605.06. Elections, overtime, $333.78. Finance, personal services other than overtime, $9,203.09. Fire Department, personal services other than overtime, $18,640.99. Fire Department overtime, $2,712.50. Human Resources, personal services other than overtime, $7,091.91. Human Resources overtime, $83. Law Department, personal services other than overtime, $6,568.71. Law Department overtime, $57.58. Parks and Recreation, personal services other than overtime, $22,785.17. Parks and Recreation overtime, $4,328.47. Police Department personal services other than overtime, $33,309.69. Police Department overtime, $2,121.27. Public Property personal services other than overtime, $13,677.73. Public Property overtime, $514.08. Procurement personal services other than overtime, $7,388.81. Tax Department personal services other than overtime, $28,395.39. Tax Department overtime, $358.34. Treasurer's personal services other than overtime, $15,774.88. Treasurer's overtime, 42 cents. Veterans personal services other than overtime, $3,723.59. Veterans overtime, $125.09.
Referred to Finance.
Wake up, Moshi, finished.
All council business as listed on the agenda have been emailed to the city council members in a complete form, the exceptions of oversight materials such as maps, photos, etc. Recommendations are based on reports of the committee.
Councilors' recognition. Anyone have anything? Okay, then I do. Councilors, this past weekend, Brockton High School's Fine Arts Department, presented a wonderful play called Parlor Games. I was privileged to attend it. Its last performance last night. Terrific play. I want to congratulate all of the actors, all of the behind-the-scenes people who created a beautiful set. It's a team effort. People who worked on it, the list goes on for days, and boy, did it show wonderful professional effort. Wonderful opportunity. Congratulations. If we have no other business, meeting's adjourned.